Here the gun speaks with the voice of Morty. The other day High on Life was released. This is a shooter from the author of Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland, where the hero fights the villains who have captured Earthlings, helps aliens, and carries talking guns. An interesting concept, but what kind of game did it end up with? This is a great shooter. High on Life boasted talking guns and typical Rick and Morty jokes from the first trailers. But without adequate gameplay, gamers would have laughed a little and abandoned the game. However, the novelty has 88% of positive reviews on Steam, online is only growing, and critics in general warmly accepted the novelty. The secret is that it is extremely pleasant to mow down villains, that is, it turned out to be a shooter. At first, the main character only runs and shoots, but thanks to a fancy costume and weapons, he will quickly turn into a local Doom guy. He demolishes everyone in a sliding tackle, straps in different directions, flies on a cathook and bloodthirsty finishes off enemies. In general, it does everything that fans of the genre are used to. At the same time, running around the arenas and shooting is fun. All guns are unique, exploding barrels are placed around the area, and aliens react well to hits. From wounds, they even change color and decrease in size. The battles are hot too. The hero has a shield, and health is restored quickly, but the enemies climb in droves. Some shoot from afar, others rush into hand-to-hand combat, others jump and explode. To survive, you need to move, use abilities and escape from the trap with a grappling hook. Bosses are in place too. They are dangerous, change phases and often surprise. For example, the fight with the first boss takes place on a small island in the middle of the acid. The enemy dives into the deadly liquid, unexpectedly attacks from different sides and even drowns the arena. Then you need to fly on the hook until a safe place appears. Of course, there could be more types of enemies, and boss fights are sometimes drawn out, but shooting and fighting still leave a pleasant impression. Guns chatter and help dominate. The plot of High on Life is simple. The hero lived quietly on Earth, but suddenly the invaders attacked the planet. Luckily, he found Kenny's gun. The talkative cannon told about space conquerors, pierced a couple of heads and moved the heroes home to another planet. Now you need to get cool weapons, gain experience, and expel the villains from the Earth. The hero becomes a space mercenary, eliminates bandits and even saves tribes from slavery. But the main goal is to collect as many guns as possible, each with its own features and character. For example, the starting trunk is voiced by Roiland himself, co-author of Rick and Morty and the voice of the main characters of the animated series. The gun even resembles Morty in character. Unsure and relying on the opinion of authorities, even if this authority drank itself, lost its former glory and settled in the garbage heap. But at the right moment, Kenny will get angry and mercilessly smash the enemies. And Knifey's dagger is shockingly bloodthirsty. He demands to get it out of its sheath more often and shred the aliens, preferably with brutal finishing moves. Knifey even has an original hobby, periodically pierce the former owner, leaving new scars. There are only 5 guns in High on Life, but you are guaranteed to love each one. What is the cost of a being that constantly gives birth to children? They replace cartridges. Small creatures pounce on enemies and devour everyone. Also, a modest arsenal compensates for pumping. For example, initially a shotgun attracts aliens, but after improvements it will steal their armor. And Sweezy shoots weak crystals that explode upon melee hit. But with an upgrade, reloading is enough for an explosion. 99% jokes. Something funny happens all the time in High on Life. Take at least a hero costume with 2 modes, licensed and shareware. By default, there is no license, so enjoy all the delights of free products. The screen will look like this. And to get to the story location, chat with 2 turnstiles. They are asked to choose which of them is prettier. After the altercation, the chosen turnstile will fraternize with you and open the passage. But for another, you will become a blood enemy. Or the hero will meet an unexpected companion who will become attached to you and torture you with meaningless speeches. After 10 seconds, you will hate the creature and shoot, but you can't hit the villain, he is too smart. In High on Life they laugh at everything. Religion, politics, tolerance, trends and, of course, games fell under the distribution. However, toilet humor is also there. For example, in order to penetrate the lair of the enemy and pass for his own, the hero will plunge into feces. Rick and Morty fans will be delighted, but some will be shocked by the abundance of jokes. Have questions? Technically, High on Life is very simple. It is better not to peer into the textures, there are really no reflections, the lighting system is primitive. But in terms of design, everything is cool. Guns, enemies, and every nook and cranny in the locations are worked out to the maximum. The amount of detail is often overwhelming. This is not surprising, because neural networks were responsible for the little things. For example, all the posters in the hero's room were drawn by the AI. Sounds like the artists really need to get busy. Globally, the locations are also beautiful. The hub perfectly conveys the atmosphere of an alien metropolis, and the jungle is reminiscent of Pandora from Avatar. The problem is that there are few large locations. You expect extravaganza from the authors of Rick and Morty, and the setting is conducive to this, but in reality, the developers came up with only a few interesting worlds. If you like fun shooting and humor in the spirit of Rick and Morty, put aside everything and sit down for High on Life. The game from the release in the Game Pass subscription, and on Steam it is sold at modest prices. But if you don't like the cult series, the jokes will tire you out and spoil your alien shooting experience. Liked, pleasant shooting, all guns are cool, funny jokes for Rick and Morty fans. Did not like, few locations, there are not enough types of enemies, humor is not for everyone.